Psalm 137. So I'm going to read this as I get started. Just to warn you, this one is a little bit hard to read, and then I'll share my thoughts about this when I'm done. Psalm 137 says, "By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down and wept. When we remembered Zion, there we hung up our lyres on the poplar trees. For our captors have asked us for songs, and our tormentors for rejoicing. Sing us one of the songs of Zion." How can we sing of the Lord's songs on foreign soil? If I forget you, Jerusalem, may my right hand forget its skill. May my tongue stick to the roof of my mouth if I do not remember you. If I do not exalt Jerusalem as my greatest joy. Remember, Lord, what the Edomites said that day at Jerusalem. Destroy it down to its foundations. Daughter Babylon, doomed to destruction, happy is the one who pays you back what you have done to us. Happy is he who takes your little ones and dashes them against the rocks. As I said, the psalm is a little bit hard to read. The psalmist is lamenting and is calling for God's justice to come. They are now taken captive. Jerusalem has fallen to Babylon, and Jerusalem is destroyed. And the people find themselves in captivity, where they will be for the next 70 years. The psalmist is lamenting being there. How can they worship and sing the Lord's songs when they are far from home on foreign soil, he says. He then shifts and calls for God's justice to come upon Babylon for what they have done. They took the kingdom of Judah captive, and that is where the psalmist seems to be. But they also destroyed the city of Jerusalem. They destroyed the temple, which was devastating for the Jewish nation. For this, the psalmist calls for God to remember and to bring his judgment. That can seem so harsh to me, and maybe to you too, because we think of how we should love other people and how we tell of God's love for us, and that's absolutely what we should be doing. But we are told not to take revenge into our own hands, but revenge is the Lord's, and that is what the psalmist is doing. He is calling for God's justice because he is God alone, and he has the right to bring judgment on the nations. It does seem harsh as we read through this, but our God is holy. He is far above you and me, and he has every right to bring his judgment as God and Creator, because he is above it all. I love how we can look into the Psalms, and the psalmist laments here, and he cries out to God, teaching us that we should do the same too, no matter where we find ourselves. We might not ever find ourselves in captivity as he did. But there are times when we need to call out to God because our world seems to have fallen apart. And that's what's happening here. I am so thankful for these examples. They teach me how to pray. And though this is hard to read and a bit raw, he cries out to God and gives him his heart. That is what I have to share with you today. I will talk to you next time.